Khartoum, Sudan. Between 1991 and 1996, Adlan's activism in Sudan led to harsh and unjust treatment of authorities there. He was arrested, badly beaten, and detained 3 times for his political activities. He continues to fight for peace, justice, and democracy, working to improve the lives of people in Sudan. Adlan completed his general education and graduate studies in Sudan and his postgraduate studies in the United States. He testified before the U.S. Congressional Commission on International Religious Freedom on February 15, 2000, which examined religious persecution and the 17-year civil war in Sudan. In March 2011, he co-founded the Sudan Human Rights Network, a voluntary non-profit, non-governmental organization dedicated to promoting respective human rights and the rule of law, thereby helping to ensure the dignity to which everyone is entitled. Currently, Adlan lives with his family in Springfield, Virginia. Please join me in welcoming Adlan Ahmed.
To honor each other, and thank you for the educative briefing, Mr. Safari. And thank you for all of you attending this, because like this, which brought me to be a human rights defender and working every day, day and night, in preventing genocide from happening. I'm not a victim of a genocide. It happened away from my hometown, but like these sessions, does bring people to have awareness about these horrible things happening around them. I look closely into the genocide in Darfur, Sudan, that happened between 2003 to 2005, where there is like around 200,000 people died or killed, and there is about 2.7 million internally displaced. Although that's a long time ago, but still now in El Fasher city, which is in western north of Darfur, the population there is around 4 million, including 1 million in displaced camps since 2002, 2003, 2004, and 2005 until now. And there is signs, usually. There's clear patterns. There may be a genocide in the making. So those are the patterns of discrimination, exclusion, and incitement of hatred based on ethnicity or race or religion. So this is now currently is happening, and I will go through a timeline of what's going on in Darfur. There is a genocide in the making under the watch of the world. And a little background on how the genocide happened in Darfur. The population in Darfur, the production type, the living style is divided into 2 major ways of living. The African descended tribes, they are farmers. They are farming. Their activities are agricultural. The Arab descendant tribes, they mainly pastoral activities. They have cows, sheep, camels, and they are nomadic. They are in the south of the region with their animals, and when the rain season started, they moved to the north. That's around May until November. Then they go back to the south following this one. So there is roads for them to go, and they're living in peace and harmony with other farmers, the African one, and there is mutual benefits. They come and sell to them the cheese, the milk, the animals, and take some of their agricultural product. Sometimes even there is intermarriage between them. But what happened in the 70s and the 80s, this is going back to the climate change. There's a famine in Darfur at that time in the 70s, desertification. So the tribes who are grazing, they find that they need to break the traditional roads, and they went on the farms of the African who are settled in their lands. And in the time, sometimes intervening with the harvest, in the early, when they come, they already harvesting is done, the animal come to the farm, they fertilize it, there is mutual benefit, as I said. But now they're forced with the climate change to come in different time. So usually there's conflicts like this, and they solve with the elders, it is small scale. But after the Chadian-Libyan war, the Chadi wars, there is a new weapons come to the region there. So people, they arm with a little advanced weapons. And the military coup happened in Sudan in June 1989. The new government, they wanted to subdue the south. Many rebels there. There's an ongoing civil war there. And they escalated this war. And they came to the Darfurian tribes, both of them, are descendant of the African one, asking the leaders of the tribes to recruit their sons for the army to fight in the south. Because those, as I described, they go into the south for grazing, they come to the north, so they have interest, especially the nomadic one, in defeating the rebels there so they can go with their cattle peacefully. So the leaders of the tribe pledged the allegiance to the government that they will send their sons and to be soldiers, to be recruited. And in return, the government rewarded them by a lot of different things. These are money, cars, services, while the African one, who are farmers, they are not having any interest of what's going on in the south. They are in peace in their place. They are having. This has created a feeling of there's discrimination from the government towards them. So the opposition movement, the government suppressed them. So the thing is escalating until 2002, where the government launched a large-scale war against those Africans who are holding arms there, fighting the government. And they used the Arab descendant tribes who are having allegiance to that government. So what happened? The Air Force going to the area where there's Africans there and drop what they call barrels, explosives, which is very, it's not advanced. It's very primitive way of, and kill indiscriminately. Then after the military aircraft gone, those tribes come on horsebacks and go into these villages. They are buried down. They kill everybody living there. They loot many corpses or animals or anything like this. And they go from village to village until the number reaches around 200,000 people killed, and those are displaced from this. So there's many factors here. The climate change, the government intervention, they're making this genocide to happen in Darfur. Since the war broke in Sudan in 2023, just 2 years ago, that's on April 15, 2025 will mark its second anniversary. The RSF is the same Janjaweed who are used to involved in that one, those from those tribes, And they transform until they become something called the Rapid Support Forces, and the government sponsored them. They are, their main existence is in Darfur. When this war broke in April 15, 2023, the same community is there in Darfur. Here I will go with the timeline to show you how the genocide in the making going on. In May 27 to May 28, 2023, there is a city called Geneva in Darfur. The Rapid Support Forces attacked that city, and the inhabitants, mainly there is a tribe called Masalid, and in those 2 days they killed at least 97 persons. On June 14, 15, they attacked the city one more time, and there's over 1,000 of the Masalid were killed in these 2 days. On the same days, on the 14th, the governor, the state governor, his name Khamis al-Bakr, was killed in this city, and forced thousands of the Masalid to go towards Chad, and there's a neighboring city called Artamata. On November the 2nd, another round of escalated violence in this city, and also there is more than 1,000 killed. On November 14, that's the biggest one, where there is a massive attack from RSF in Geneva, and there is like around 15,000 of the Masalid were killed. And there's around 500,000 forced to flee to Chad. Since May last year, now is around a year, Darfur has 5 states, 4 of them under control of RSF now. The 6th one is Northern Darfur, and that's the most important one. And there is the African descendant tribes there, Zagawa, Masalid, and 4, most of them living in that region. And that 5th state, the capital of the state, Al-Fashir, under siege, barricade, since May 2024. And when I say there is a genocide in the making, they isolated this city. It's the army there with some of the African forces of the militia there defending the city. They know that if this city is taken by the RSF, the 4 million maybe of the population of this city, there will be a wide genocide there. So that's why they are fighting fiercely not to let this go. But there is a siege. Every day there is children die of starvation, the lack of medicines. Also, many people every day they die. There's the shelling, bombardment every day on their heads and homes. Every day we hear there is a number of people are there. And the reason the RSF, they wanted this city badly because they wanted to govern all Darfur region, and they announced that they are preparing to make a dual government to the government in the eastern and north Sudan. So maybe Sudan will be 2 countries. But if this situation happened, there is a signs warning there is another genocide will come. What we can do now to prevent that of help. So my organization, Sudan Human Rights Network, we're very concerned about this one. And we think there is 3 steps could be taken in order to prevent this. First of all, the world must seeking a way of imposing accountability measures and hold the perpetrators accountable. How this can happen? Let's start with classifying the RSF as a terrorist organization. What that means? That means they can, those who genocide mongers could be the superpowers that send a signal, very strong signals that you will not, this time, you will not escape the justice, or you will be held accountable by announcing this organization as a terrorist organization. And that's happened in the real world. It's happened, for example, the Iranian Soleimani. There is smart targeting for those who mongers who killed in Baghdad. It happened to Osama bin Laden. It happened to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. So targeting those who are the leaders of the thing that could be transformed into the genocide. There is no need to send troops like what happened in Bosnia early in 1990, 1994, 1995, where they announced, the UN having their peacekeeping troops there in the city of Srebrenica, and they announced it is a refuge, safe one, safe haven, and there is many of the Bosnian there. I forgot the name of the group, but
Bosniaks.
yes, they are under the protection of the UN. And what happened is when the Serbs come,
The Kosovo?
yes, when they want to,
Kosovo.
Well, that's different.
Yeah.
That's a different one.
that's different one, yes. Srebrenica, that's what I'm talking about,
Yes.
where the UN peacekeeping there,
Yeah.
that did not prevent Serbs from
Killing
killing in one day over
8,000.
8,000 persons. And other who fled and displaced and so on. So the experiments of sending peace, keeping peace from the UN, in most experiences, it's not solving the problem. Sometimes it brings more problem than it solves. In Darfur, there is a peacekeeping of 26,000 after the genocide happened, after 2007 until 2018 or 17, they are there, but there's still ongoing issues there in Darfur. And now it seems it will come. So the world now, there is the smart targeting, either economically or either even like the putting those who are perpetrators, leaders into. Yes, this seems harsh, but you have to do something for that. The second thing that we call for airdrop aids in crisis because there's starvation, lack of medicine, lack of food, and people are dying there every day. And the third one, the international community, is to make sure that there is a banning on arms or arming the warring parties. Like in 2004, there is an act from the UN issued in 2014. This is still in effect. They renew it every year, but today we want to make it sure that this is the situation. Really, there is no foreign or other actors supplying the arms to the warring parties in the region of Darfur. Today, there was a hearing, public hearing in Hague, the International Court of Justice. There is a case between the government of Sudan and United Arab Emirates because there is a lot of evidence that they are fueling the war in Darfur in particular, and that's where a genocide might come under our watch of the world. So thank you very much.
I apologize, we don't have opportunity for questions only because we're running over. Maybe in the final closing, we will.
It's a panel.
It's a foreign panel, so there'll be another opportunity.